Hello guys and welcome to my craft desk. Tatiana is here with you today with a fun tutorial how to make a three-dimensional textured popcorn background. This idea came out from a card I made for the Newton's Nook Designs new release. And so I'm using the same products I used on my previous card. Newton's Movies Nights stamp and die sets. The die set comes with some additional popcorn dies that would be so much fun to use for the shaker project. While I decided to use a fun popcorn stencil on my card today instead. I'm starting this project directly from the card base. I used a slightly thicker than usual paper, which is Nina Solar White 110 pound, to prevent the background from excessive warping. I took my Misty tool and stamped first the sentiment from Newton's Movies Night stamp set. I used MFT hybrid ink for that purpose, since it leaves a crisp black impression on the paper and dries fast. I masked the bottom part of the card base with the sentiment using a strip of sticky tape and started inking on top fossilized amber distress oxide ink. I'm using a blending brush today instead of irregular foam sponge since I want to achieve a nicely soft background. For the more interest, I finished the background with a few little tiny droplets of pearlized solution. And now I'm switching to the popcorn stencil. I tried the technique I'm showing today both with textured paste from Ranger and the white embossing paste from Wendy Vecchi, but you may want to try whatever you have on hands. To start, I'm giving the initial texture to my project by applying a thick and uneven layer of a textured white opaque embossing paste. Normally, I would leave the embossing paste air dry, but this time I will be using a heat gun to heat set it, since the heat makes bubble the embossing paste. Usually I try to avoid this effect, but this time it will leave me with a fun three-dimensional popcorn background, which looks like a real popcorn. Hope you can see how it works on camera. Once finished with heat setting, I put aside my background and started working on Strathmore Bristol paper. As usual, when working with the coordinating dies, I like to make the die cutting process first, and so I used Newton's Movies Night die set and die cut the kitten shape. I saved the negative part of the die and used my Misty tool for the perfect alignment. And so I stamped the kitties first on a piece of a scratch paper. Next, took the negative part of the die and aligned it with the image. Finally, I popped the positive die cut inside and stamped again with VersaFine Onyx black ink since it's crisp and waterproof. For the coloring, I'm taking my Tombow markers along with a small water brush from Pentel. I'm speeding up the coloring process at this point since, to be honest, it took me quite a while to finish the whole image. And meanwhile, I'm leaving you with some lovely music. Once finished with coloring, I simply popped the fun and sweet kitties on a piece of foam tape for some dimension and just little extra. I also added some little spots with Distress Oxide inks on the popcorns for a more realistic look. Thanks so much for joining me today. I really appreciate your love and support. Bye!